All right, going to talk about new Texas A&M transfer portal commit Jacob Zeno, the former Baylor, former UAB quarterback. Talk about the importance of bringing him in and why I think it's good that the Aggies brought him in. Then we'll talk about what he's done well in his playing career. Again, he's entering year 7 as a college quarterback. So we'll talk about what he's done well, kind of his history, and we'll look at 3 clips that do a good job demonstrating the tools that he has and why I think he can really be a benefit to the Aggie quarterback room. So biggest takeaway is the Aggies are bringing a veteran presence into the quarterback room. They got a lot of guys. Their presumed starter next year, Marcel Reed, really flashed last year, showed some really good things in 2024, but obviously some steps to take, some steps to improve on. So bringing in a guy like Jacob Zeno, I think could be really good for Reed's development. And this is a common practice that teams will do. They'll bring in some veteran guys who have starting experience, who probably still want to start. Obviously, Zeno's probably coming in to want to compete and want to play, but they'll bring in these veteran guys that help the quarterback room. I've trained guys who are entering like year 6, year 5, and they've had some starting experience at G5 level, but they want to go play at a big school. And so big schools recruit them. They'll bring them in, not saying, hey, you're not going to play, but saying, hey, it's probably going to be a backup role. Now, I'm not sure what the discussion was with Zeno, but we've trained guys that like a TCU or an Oklahoma State will come recruit guys that start at South Alabama, Texas State, whatever it may be, to try to get them to come in and add some veteran presence in there. So with that said, I think it's a good pickup. I think it's a good veteran presence for Reed and his development. But let's talk about the history of Jacob Zeno. Let's talk about the past 6 years, essentially. Talk about the year that he started and then what he did well. So from 2019 to 2021, he did not find the field much at Baylor. Now, we're from Texas, so we're familiar with him, even him being a backup. But then we also do a lot of group of 5 content. We keep with a lot of G5 quarterbacks. So we were pretty familiar with him when he went to UAB and played at UAB from 2022 to 2024. Now, his only full year starting was in 2023. 2022, he played some. 2023, he started, did well. In 2024, he had a season-ending injury, so he only played 4 games, I believe. But in 2023, his only full year as a starter, he had 20 touchdowns, 9 picks, 3,126 yards passing. His completion percentage, which I think is one of the biggest takeaway, was almost 74, so 73.6% completion percentage. Had a $168 on the ground and 4 touchdowns. So going into this season, I thought he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the group of 5 and for sure one of the best in the AAC. I put out a video talking about the top quarterbacks in the AAC going in 2024, and Zeno was like one of my top 3 guys. It was him, the USF quarterback, and Seth Hennigan from Memphis. And obviously I was wrong. UAB is kind of a dumpster fire. Jacob Zeno gets hurt, and not really not the same season that he had in 2023. But I know after the 2023 season, there are teams looking around trying to get him in the portal to come be their quarterback. Against SEC competition, Jacob Zeno played Arkansas this year, one of the 4 games that he played, and then played Georgia the year before. Against Arkansas this year, he was 23 of 32, 235 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. They lost 37-27, but at one point they were up, I think, 17-3 at Arkansas. It was tied 20-20 at half. Played a good game, competed well. Against Georgia in 2023, they lost 49-28, but they competed in the first half. They're only down by 2 touchdowns. He ended the game 32 of 51 for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown on the ground. So it does have some SEC competition history. Right, so what did he do well? What did he do well that 2023 season? Well, there are a few things that stand out. Number one, it was his deep ball and his accuracy. Well, I guess that's 2 things. Number one, let's go with deep ball. On throws 20 yards or more downfield, he was 19 of 37 for 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, graded really, really highly in PFF. He was also extremely accurate in areas where Reed needs to develop. So I think the deep ball and then the accuracy are the top 2 takeaways from Jacob Zeno and watching him. I think adding him in the quarterback room and the fact that Reed's next steps in his development as a quarterback is probably the deep ball consistency and the accuracy. We've seen the flashes. Like, the ability is there. Now it just has to be done consistently. So when you add a veteran quarterback like Zeno, you're hoping that from talking and being in the same quarterback room, that can help Reed on, especially that there's 2 actually main takeaways from Marcel Reed and what he struggled with as far as accuracy goes. He struggled against the blitz, and then he struggled off of play action. And I think play action could be a really good key for Reed and for his development as a quarterback. Like, off play action, Marcel Reed was a 54.5% completion percent passer. Not great. Jacob Zeno off play action was 75% in 2023. When Jacob Zeno was blitzed, he was a 64% completion passer. When Marcel Reed was blitzed this year, 51% completion percentage. So those are two areas that Zeno did well in, that Reed needs to develop in, that I think could be a good carryover adding Zeno to this quarterback room. And then the last key, what he did well was, he's not the same athlete Reed is. Reed is a superior elite athlete. But Jacob Zeno has enough athleticism where if he does have to go in for whatever reason, you don't have to completely overhaul the playbook. He's not going to be able to outrun an LSU DB like Reed can and like Reed did. But he's going to be able to make some plays and utilize his legs, or at least as a threat of him running the ball, as a threat of him throwing on the run. So Jacob Zeno, I think he's a good fit for A&M. I think it's a good quarterback presence, however they choose to use him. We're not in the quarterback room. We don't know what's being said or what's being recruited, but I think adding a presence like that can help young quarterbacks and can really help Marcel Reed, especially in the areas that Reed needs to develop. Accuracy and deep ball, something that Zeno did well in 2023. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at 3 clips of Jacob Zeno, just kind of give y'all A&M fans a glimpse of what he did well in 2023, and then we'll go ahead and wrap the video up. All right, A&M fans, so this is broadcast footage. A&M fans that have followed the channel this season know we have to slow down the footage. I do apologize, not the best quality, but does a good enough job getting the point across. So 3 clips that we'll watch of Jacob Zeno. First one is a deep ball. Now, he was 19 of 37 for balls thrown 20 yards or more downfield. Good completion percentage, rated out really highly according to PFF on these type of throws. Marcel Reed this year was 9 of 33. So it's a deep ball by Zeno, and of course, this is, playing FAU is going to be much different than playing Alabama and LSU and Tennessee and all those guys. I totally get it. But still, he was accurate, had a good deep ball. Deep ball was part of his game at UAB, something that Reed needs to take the next step on. Again, 9 of 33 for Reed, 19 of 37 for Zeno. Again, it's totally different competition they're playing. But still, the fact that he had some success throwing these type of balls, I think, can be a benefit to Reed, whatever that may be, whether they talk about reads or whether they talk about mechanics. Whatever happens, the fact that he's had that success can hopefully rub off on Reed. The other point, the accuracy. Now, we talked about Reed struggling against the blitz on his accuracy. I think his completion percentage against the blitz, what I say in the beginning of the video, was like 51, and then off play action, his completion percentage was 54. He was much better when teams dropped 7 or 8 guys, and he was much better on straight dropbacks and off play action. I think to be really successful in Klein's offense and for Reed to develop, having success off play action could be huge, especially with Reed's ability to run. So I think the fact that Zeno was really accurate, I think 75% completion percentage off of play action, and then maybe 64 against the blitz, we said. This is a nice, accurate throw, sitting him down, having good feel, not leading him into the safety here. So a good, accurate throw by Jacob Zeno. Right, so top two keys of why I think he can add value besides just the veteran presence and the veteran leadership to help the quarterbacks develop. The accuracy, the deep ball, but then he has enough athleticism, which we're going to see here. He scrambles, throws a good ball downfield. But he has enough athleticism where if, for whatever reason, Zeno does get in, does play, whatever happens, that they don't have to overhaul the playbook completely. Now, he's not Marcel Reed by any means. Like, you're going to have changes. Like, Reed is a dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands. But Zeno's got enough athleticism where, hey, I can make some plays. We can still keep some RPO schemes. We can still keep a little quarterback run a little bit, where you're making changes, but you don't have to overhaul the offense. It's not like you're going from like Wigman and Reed were just different quarterbacks with different systems. Like, I think you can still have a similar scheme with Zeno with the course changes. So, A&M fans, that's the take on Jacob Zeno. I think he's good for veteran presence. Maybe I'm completely wrong with everything I talked about. That very well could be the case. Most of y'all are smarter than me and have higher football IQ than I do. So I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Zeno? What are your thoughts of bringing him in? What are your thoughts on what he can bring to the table? Of course, we'll put out a lot more quarterback content through this offseason. We're just a big quarterback hub. We spend a lot of time breaking down SEC quarterbacks and any type of SEC quarterback content. So if you have something that y'all would want to see during this offseason, please let us know. We've been doing so much previews and so many recaps of games. We've done a lot of Marcel Reed and Connor Wegman content this year. So please let us know what y'all want to see, and please subscribe if you haven't. It helps us grow. Like the video, share, all that YouTube stuff. It really does help us out. Thanks for following us along. We'll see you next time. Peace.